So in the previous video, I was farming some gear to beat the endgame bosses, and after having to deal with this pain in the butt, I finally finished my armor set to complete the game. And the next thing that jumped straight to my mind was to defeat the two hardest bosses I know in Monster Hunter World Iceborne, Alatreon and Fatalis. However, the one that I've always wanted to beat and is actually my main goal when replaying the game is Alatreon. So I used to play Monster Hunter World during the time Iceborne was out and did finish the story, but since it was only high rank, I didn't even know that this Alatreon existed. Not until I was playing Monster Hunter Rise with my big brother, he talked about some of the hardest bosses in the game that he has fought, and the one that he couldn't beat for once was Alatreon. That was the first time I have heard of the name, and thinking about the person who taught me how to play Monster Hunter couldn't defeat this thing, I just felt scared. But at the same time, I really wanted to try it out to see what is the problem with this thing. So after finishing up my preparation, it is finally time. I've also watched some speedruns to see what the creature looks like, and probably because they beat it too fast, I'm not even sure which one is the hard part. Though I've seen some of its moves and how to dodge them, it is totally different when you are the one who is playing, especially when it is the first time and you are playing solo. But bro, what? I beat it! And it only took 10 minutes. Well, I did cut it twice, once for my stupidity, and second for whatever this is, but there's just no way it is that easy, right? So I did some research, and there are actually two Alatreon quests that are given to you. And the one that I chose was the one that it got heavily nerfed to the point it has even less health than this guy. And it still took me 10 minutes to beat it. Now that is a little bit concerning. So I had to do some more research on how to actually win against Alatreon. Basically, the thing that occurred me is something called Eschaton Judgment. Wow, only the name already has so much aura. Anyway, if you don't deal enough elemental damage before it uses it, well, good luck, and even praying now would not help. Also, it will shift around 3 different elements: fire, dragon, and ice. So to make it easier, I must bring an elemental weapon that is good for its starting element. And to guarantee that it doesn't shift to the element that counters my weapon, during and only in the joint phase, I must break its horn. So basically, to sum up, this sucker is like a time bomb. If you don't accomplish both of the things above, you will surely be dead, which is just so annoying. It makes you feel like everything you do needs to be perfect and there can't be any mistakes. You need to be careful not to card, and at the same time, you will need to deal damage or you will not survive the supernova. And because of having the thought of needing to be perfect, it made me card it a lot, always trying to redo the quest so it doesn't waste items, and I started to feel really frustrated. However, after all, I remember that this is just a game, and games are made for us so that we can enjoy them. And what is the point if a boss is not challenging anyway? So after I've made up my mind, and of course a lot of cards later, I decided to give it another shot. This time I went in more relaxed and played with more confidence, countered when possible, and also tried to be careful at the same time. Also, I didn't even know about the Dragon Blade cancelling out elemental damage. And I always ask myself why my damage has this blue thing glowing. Getting hit at this point doesn't make me flinch that much anymore. However, at the point it reaches Dragon phase, I did start to panic a little bit. Since up to now, I haven't reached the first elemental topple, and I will also have to break its horn as well. And I still have Dragon Blight. I started to do more Helmbreaker, even though I haven't got to rank gauge, showing how much I was panicking.
Shiny.
の破壊を確認。一時的に氷属性への移行ができない模様。
Alright, Eschaton Judgment time. Let's get my meat. And after this, the process will repeat until it dies. And the great thing up until now is that I haven't caught it yet. Everything was going quite well. I was still getting hit a lot, but managed to reach the second elemental topple. However, I got caught in once and was not able to break its horn during the dragon phase. So what will happen now is after the Eschaton Judgment, it will shift to Ice Active mode, which means that I won't be able to deal any elemental damage. I'm sure there won't be enough time to reach the third topple during the dragon phase. So my plan now is to deal as much damage as I can, and no matter what, during the dragon phase, I must not touch its horn, because if I break it now, it will continue to stay in Ice element, which I would not have a chance to win anymore. Accepting the fact that I will have to card another time, but I still have one last chance.
Hamamatsu in this man's whole career.
力のもと順調です。
強力な攻撃が来るぞ。回復の準備をしろ。
アルバトリオン特性が変化。
Oh my god. I totally did not expect I could beat it today.
この調査結果を
At this point, I was just standing there, trying to take a picture to send to my brother. I was just so hyped. I felt a lot of joy after being able to not only achieve my goal, but also beat a challenging boss. And I just thought to myself, I will only get even better at the game from now on. Well, we will see about that in the next video.